I think if there is a way to save my life, or not like save, but to make it as long as possible, I'm really happy to be on treatment. It's hard sometimes, but I think there is no other way. My name is Sasha. I live in Sweden, and I was diagnosed in 2020, and it's ocular melanoma. I can't find words that would be nice. It's hard, it's complicated, it's complex. It's a lot of things. I wouldn't say that there's anything that is good, but over time you just learn to find something that is not that bad. It started in 2019, in October. I felt like there was some pressure somewhere, like behind my eye. It was weird. So I felt like there was some dryness in my eye, but nothing major. Nothing was like, it wasn't obvious. Physically, everything was all right. My vision was still fine. And then one day I realized that I'm having a very strong headache, like never before. And obviously I had heard that some people had migraines, and those are quite intense. And I thought, probably it's a migraine, right? So I'm approaching 30. Maybe it's time to get a migraine for the first time. It was bad for a couple of days, and then it passed, and I thought, all right. And then over like 2 or 3 months, I was just getting this weird dryness in my eye, and there was like a little red blood vessel in there, but nothing major, nothing that would be like scary. And then I thought, all right, I should go to see a specialist. And I went to see a doctor, and ophthalmologist told me that there was nothing there. And she looked, and there's nothing to worry about. I thought, it's not right. I went to another doctor, and they said, probably it's a headache, and there's nothing. Yeah, and I even went to get an MRI for my brain, and there was nothing. And I thought, maybe something is just happening to my eye. So 5 months after that first headache, I woke up and I realized that there's like a black curtain over my right eye. So upper part of my regular like vision field was just blocked with something black. And I went to see a doctor immediately, and they said, we don't know what that is. You should go to a special eye hospital, eye clinic. And it was COVID, so everything was closed. But I went there, and they told me it's probably like, what's it called in English? I'm not sure, like retina detachment. And it happens with people of all ages. It's nothing major. It's like one day in a hospital and it's fixed. But then a doctor there, he took a look, and he said, we should do some tests, like ultrasound and some pictures. They took some pictures, and he asked me to wait for a while, and then he closed the door and told me that there is a tumor in my eyeball, and that was the reason why I had that headache, and that was the reason why my retina detached, because the tumor got big enough, and it basically ruined my eye from the inside. And I didn't know that there is no like nerves in your eyeball, so I didn't feel anything, no pain, no nothing. I first asked if that was cancer. That was my first question, and he said yes, it's malignant. Because usually, like, these tumors, they are malignant, usually. And I asked, is it, like, big? Is it bad? And he took a piece of paper and a pencil and, like, drew an eyeball and the tumor inside. And it was like 1/3 of the eyeball. And he said that, all right, we're not gonna let you go now. It's covered. You won't be able to get in again if we let you go. So you stay here, and your eye will be removed in a couple of days. I had my bag with me, and I went. So I closed the door behind me, and I was like in the corridor, and I started crying. Oh, and I called my mum, and I said, please sit down. There's something I have to tell you. And I told her. There was probably, she was shocked, so there was no reaction, pretty much nothing. I didn't know what to feel. I didn't know what to think. I wasn't sad about the fact that I will lose my eye. I was scared that if I don't do that, I can die. The surgery was, as they said, 2 days after, and I woke up in the morning. I didn't have breakfast because I was supposed to have this anesthesia, and I had my Dirty Dancing t-shirt on and my jeans and stuff like that. I didn't have anything with me in the hospital because I wasn't ready for that, right? So I went for my surgery wearing my Dirty Dancing t-shirt and my jeans, and they put some white robe on top of that. They gave me the robe, I put it on. And I lay down on the table, and then I just fell asleep, and the doctor told me that they will try to save the eye. They had to start the surgery, maybe she said, we would try, right? And when I woke up, I thought maybe, I realized that everything was covered with the bandage. And I thought maybe the eye is still in there. And I tried to open my eyelids, and I was like, okay, I can do that. But then I closed my left eye, and I checked if I see any light, and there was nothing. And I realized that the eye is gone, and I'm smiling because because it's very uncomfortable, and I deleted all the photos from that day that I had on my phone because still they're too hard to look at. So maybe a year ago, 2 years ago, I just removed anything that was related to that day. They let me go 3 days after and said that I have to find myself an oncologist because they're like eye doctors. So I have to find myself a regular oncologist, and then I had to do MRIs and CTs every 3 months, the entire body, like my head, my lungs, my liver, because this thing usually, if it usually spreads to lungs or to liver, right? So I had to do that, and for the first 6 months it was all right. So doctors told me that the scans were clear, And also that, like, all right, you are young, so probably nothing would happen. You just have to do your MRIs and CTs, and that's it. And then I moved to Finland because I was hired by a Finnish company. And I moved there. I was very nervous about my diagnosis, about the fact that I have to find a doctor again. And I moved, and I got another MRI and CT scheduled for months after I moved. So it was about a year since I was diagnosed. And I went to have that MRI and CT, and 2 weeks after I received a call, and they told me that they found some tumors in my liver. And also they said that now they think that stuff I had in my lungs from the day one, they thought that those were cancerous as well. Because before that, probably when I was diagnosed, when my eye was removed, it was stage 4, but doctors didn't think, because I didn't have anything in my liver, so they thought maybe I have something in my lungs, and like fibrosis or something like that. But then in Finland, they said that those are probably also cancerous. I didn't want to believe that, because having something in my liver was enough. But then, after some time, we realized that yes, the tumors in my lungs, they were cancerous as well. So after that, we decided. Back then, there was nothing for ocular melanoma, like no official treatment for that. Only treatments, only immunotherapy for skin melanoma, but the name is the same, but the tumors, they're different. Eye melanoma and skin melanoma, they're totally different. They don't even react to the same things. First, it was dual treatment immunotherapy for 4 months, once a month. It seemed like it never stopped the disease, but it stopped new tumors from appearing. But it wasn't good enough, so the treatment was discontinued. After that, we went for radiotherapy for my liver. I had 4 tumors there, so we irradiated those, and there was nothing new for 4 months after that, 5 months. And I reacted to radiation, so it was good news. After that, tumors started growing again, and I got some new ones. And I was like hanging in the air for a few months because there was nothing for me. I was waiting for that new immunotherapy that was still in clinical trials in the US. And essentially I was just waiting and waiting and waiting. And at some point I realized that, I had to do something. And I went to Germany to get chemosaturation of the, it wasn't chemotherapy, it's a different thing. It wasn't like regular IV chemotherapy. It's a surgery. There is an artificial blood flow outside of your body because they have to put enormous amount of the drug into your liver and then filter it. So I had that. I had 3 of those surgeries, and they were very, very hard and very demanding. It was very bad. So I had them every 6 weeks. Because at that point, the biggest tumor in my liver was almost 2 liters in volume. So I got treatment for that. And then I had 5 chemoembolizations for that. And after 3 chemosaturations, that new drug got approved, new immunotherapy. So I started that also. So I was getting chemoembolizations and that immunotherapy drug together. Since then, I was on that immunotherapy. We finished chemoembolizations. And then I got radiation for my left lung. It worked. And then I received some bad news that there was something new in my lymph nodes, but apparently it wasn't new. It was there for a long time, but they didn't find it for some reason. And that was the reason why my immunotherapy was discontinued in Finland. And it was a controversial decision because I went to a few hospitals in France, in Germany, and I got second opinions, and they all said that they shouldn't have discontinued it. It worked. Because those new findings in my lymph nodes, they weren't even new. They were there for a while. And I started paying for that immunotherapy myself. I do it every other week. And that's the reason why side effects are worse. I got fever every time, and itching and muscle pain. So it's not terrible, but it's not good either. It was very hard physically. All the surgeries, all the recoveries, new drugs. It was very hard. It was very bad. There was one night in particular when I woke up and I thought I'm dying. When I started my first immunotherapy, so I had a very bad adverse reaction. But with all that being said, my mental health was the worst. Because it's very hard to wrap your head around the fact that now you have this thing and it's not going away. And I've been fighting stage 4 for 4 years. And it's not getting easier. I would say that I don't even feel less. I feel more. So yeah, mental health is very important, and it's very challenging mentally. It's not like it was my one and only goal. Like, it wasn't my one and only goal in life, but I wanted to have children. But now, obviously, I can't do that. Because of cancer, I can't do that. I think about it sometimes, and it's very hard. Also, I have one eye, obviously. There is no depth perception. So stairs are challenging. Sometimes I can't even take a pencil or pen that is on the table because I don't understand the distance. So it's an issue, considering that I'm an artist. I'm a 3D artist. So my vision is very important. And I have only one eye. Yeah, it's a lot of things, and I have to plan my life according to my treatments, and I don't always know what I'm going to have next. And I have my scans every 3 or 4 months. So I don't know if there's anything new. And I go there because I have to do that, but I don't know if there's So my life is like, I have 3 months, and then the scan day. And then if there's nothing new, I have 3 more months, and then there is a scan day again. So I don't plan ahead because I don't have that in my head. Well, after I was diagnosed, there is no long-term plan. I have this day and the second day after that, and the day after that, and that's it. You should advocate for yourself. It's a weird thing to say, but you should trust your doctor, but you also should trust yourself. It's very important. You are entitled to have a second opinion, and you owe it to yourself to get that. even if there is a doctor who did something good for you, you have to ask. You have to find another doctor and ask them. Maybe another doctor and ask them. You have to have as much information as you can. Because there are treatments, especially like new ones, cutting edge ones. Not all doctors are aware of those treatments. Not because they're bad doctors, just because there is a lot of information, right? And you have to know that. You have to read about your diagnosis. Read about new things, about like how the science grows and develops. Because there is no one who, unfortunately, there is nobody who will do it for you. Even your doctor, they are not gods. So trust them, but also trust yourself. You are entitled to be alive.